Okay. So, again, thanks a lot for attending. It means a lot for us, and hopefully, we have more of these going forward. My topic is some of these emerging technologies, the business disruption that is happening, and its impact on current job market. Most important, like he gave a really good insight on the future. I'm going to talk on the present because AI is no more of futurist technology. It is today we have. It's a mature technology, and how it is impacting your job today, and how to understand what's happening in the market. So what the trends are going on, and I'll just give a quick background about myself. My name is Kiran, and I've been a tech consultant. I've worked in startups, enterprise. Right now, I'm working for Toronto Hydro. I also conduct product management and blockchain courses here. And I'm always worked in roles which are very close to technology. So I typically, as a consultant, I have to understand the holistic view, 360-degree view of what's happening in the entire industry. And so first I have to talk on disruption. And when we speak on disruption, Clayton Christian, he is an authority on this topic. Most of the disruption and the buzzwords which Deloitte and these people use, he is the one who introduced them. And what disruption really is it displaces an existing market. So we are not going to new market, an existing market, or it's an existing industry or a technology, and it produces something new, more efficient and worthwhile. And most important is how he ends it. It is both destructive and creative. So this is the basis for why this all Silicon Valley innovation, everything is happening, is this definition. And so when you say, let's take some examples. So market. So what he suggests is it goes into an untapped market. It starts with an untapped market. Like nowadays, you may be hearing a lot of fintechs talking about the unbanked population. The population in maritime, small communities, indigenous communities, or in rural India, like these people who are unbanked, the banks think, oh, it's not profitable for me to venture there. But those are people, human, they are users. They also need banking services. So venturing into that, bringing a product in that market, and then slowly capturing a bigger geographic region. Let's talk about industry. Entertainment industry, Netflix, the best example. Even before that, entertainment industry is one which is constantly transforming, and Netflix is the best use case. In fact, if you Google for his name at Netflix, he has explained very well how Netflix is the best example of disruptive innovation. And I don't want to go in this in a lot depth, but basically it attacks you on multiple angles. It even has changed your human behavior. So that is the beauty, or it's a double-edged sword. So and then it's also technology. So if you remember, even now any application, the same icon is a floppy disk. But today's kids don't even know what a floppy disk is, right? It's a USB. So the where we are storing the technology that was used as the primary data storage is completely gone. School kids today do not even know what that is about. And similarly, it's destructive and also this disruptive innovation is not just about technology. In North America, community colleges did something amazing. What community colleges did is people earlier had to do a 4-year degree. It used to be expensive, and the new data suggests the return on investment (ROI) of community colleges is better than that of a very expensive 6-digit 4-year degree. So community colleges disrupted the education industry a few decades back. So this is another example of disruptive innovation, and this impacts each one of us around. So what I'm not sure why the quality is not that great actually. Should I just change the? It's really bad.
The next slide will be better.
Okay. Or probably it's taking. I'll just disconnect. Sorry guys. I'll just disconnect and again connect.
Maybe there's a lag on the phone. Try the laptop.
Yeah, so this one is good. This one is good. Now it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, something. Okay, so when does this disruption occur? When there is an intersection of business meets technology meets human, and human is the most important. Your behavior changes. Now, if you go to standard cable channel and in between a movie there is a 15-minute ad, you go crazy. You cannot watch advertisements for more than 5-10 minutes because Netflix has changed our behavior. The way we consume entertainment has directly affected. Remember 7-8 years back, standing on TTC for an hour, it was okay, it was common. Or any country you are from, the public transport is okay. But people who are used to Uber pool, you cannot stand for now 1 hour. Even so, it first is it directly impacts your human behavior. The next is technology changes. Think about how you consume audio. It was cassette player, then it was first those big players, then cassette, then MP3. So the technology is also changing, and at the same time, the most important is business. So business is the partnerships that are happening between two companies. So just I registered this Eventbrite program. In the back end, Eventbrite is giving me option to integrate with another software which gives me the option to print conference badges. Another software integrates email and gives me advanced feature. So the type of business partnerships, and most important is the business models. They are completely changing when this is happening. So then what is innovation? So innovation, the one most important thing is at the end of the day, the end user who is affected or is the consumer who is using that product, there is value added. And I want to be very clear on the value aspect. Value does not mean it is more expensive or is it less expensive or it is less time, it is saving time. Like earlier it used to be simple. Is this product saving time for the user or is this product cheaper for the consumer? Now you think like, let's say you are in your home, a burger joint is 10 minutes down the line. If you go and eat the burger and come back to your home, it will take just 30 minutes. But what you as a consumer are doing is you are ready to order it on an app. It will take 30-40 minutes to just arrive, and then you will eat and you will pay a delivery fee on top of that. So you are actually spending more time and you are also spending more amount. But still there is a value involved, and that value is the convenience. It turns out consumers and enterprises are ready to as long as value it is also very difficult to understand what value is because it's a very intangible metric. So the focus is to create value for them. And another most important is mass organic adoption. In Silicon Valley terms, it's called as world domination. Facebook started in the Howard University campus to rate college students. That's all. In one small college, not even the entire college, in one division. Today, Facebook has the whole world's KYC. It has the identity of almost 1 billion people. So it starts from something small. Mobile adoption, the way it started slow and then it hit you big time. So that is what is truly innovation. So actually, I'm not happy with. Anyways, so who is this for? So why is this technology, all these $1 billion being poured in, trillion? For whom is this all happening? And the answer is I'm not sure. Play this. Okay, play video. So the answer is this. All this innovation, everything is not happening for you and me. It is happening for the next generation. So what this video shows, it shows a toddler who has been given a gaming device, which is from 10 years back. It does not have touchscreen, and the toddler cannot use it. A kid just is confused because a gadget is in the toddler's hand and cannot use it because it's not touchscreen. Because the toddler does not even know that there can be a device without touchscreen. Only our generation knows it. Touchscreen is just so, and the toddler starts crying. The second most important is a product should be so easy that even a toddler can should be able to use it. And that is when if a toddler can use it, then it will have mass adoption. So this is in the mind of the vision of the product and the product managers and the CEO. So a product, so and this is not just about consumer products like application, it is even enterprise products. So nowadays all these DevOps products or even automation testing, it has become so easy. Even a kid can deploy a application on a server on cloud. Earlier it used to be, and it used to be specialized 1 week kind of time used to go in that. Now it's just few clicks and you deploy your application on the cloud. Even a kid can do that. So when I'm saying it's not just about consumer, it is any application, any innovative application, who can use it, it's a toddler. And it's changing. So when you have that in mind, I just want to touch base on, before going into the specifics of the technologies, what is the difference between digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation? 80s and 90s was just digitization. It was just stupid data where you are scanning something, storing it. It was just digitalization. Is like you are converting the physical thing into a digital thing. Or sometimes it used to be small applications which are used by just one department, one users, one type of user, or just for an individual. That was the most starting point of IT. This is where we started. Even now this is there. It's not like it's gone. Then came the phase of digitalization, where if you have worked in enterprises, it was SAP, where it's no more just, you're not just thinking about one department, but it is more of at an holistic level. You can easily use the same application suite across different departments. And digitalization is also about using all the latest technology tools. The most important thing that digitalization changed is it was the business models changed, and everything around that changed. And that was the most the phase where there was the maximum IT jobs created. It was in this phase, because now everything that you are doing was all activities and tasks that you were doing suddenly were more of IT enabled, and one IT system could easily talk with another IT system. So this is when digitalization happened. And nowadays, if you just go on Indeed jobs, or if you go on LinkedIn jobs, under digital transformation, you will see hundreds of jobs. Every big bank, every big organization, or even a startup has a digital transformation department. They will call it different names: platform modernization, innovation, but all of that falls under digital transformation. And most important, this is a mindset change. It is a completely mindset change, where the entire the proposition of your product is customer centric. So it completely it is one of the best. The focus is entirely on UX. So when I say UX, the focus is entirely on the journey of the so it's a user experience. So how, and it will help the user to do their same task easily. The most important was, which he was talking about, is now how automation, but intelligent automation like AI and robotics can help. So it was here you could just scan something and store it. Here the same scan document went from different departments, it was approved, and here it was so smart that when you scan a document, it exactly knows, reading the barcode and the information on it, where to send it, automatically gets approved, and it gets stored. So the end-to-end journey is no manual intervention. So this is the difference between, and we are right now over here, and you can search for yourself under the digital transformation umbrella. Maximum jobs are being created. So this is something he also touched, which is the future of work. So what future of work means is the type of workforce. Earlier, till now, it was very simple that you have to have these many degrees, only then you can get into a starting job. Now, E&Y, Ernst & Young, their UK branch, they announced that they do not require a computer developer to be 4 years degree holder. Even if it is grade 12 and they can crack their online test, we will consider it. The type of people, the workforce is changing. Do you really need full-time people? How much should be the percentage between contract and full-time? And if you see all these big enterprises in Canada, they are confused. Some years they will just hire contractors, then suddenly some CIO will say, we need to change our strategy, and they will hire only full-time. So they are still trying to figure out what is the best style of workforce. How much should be distributed, like remote, offshore. All of these are different categories, and where and how much of my people should be working like that. The most important thing in workforce is the gig worker. So when I say gig, it is like Uber, delivery, so it is called as the gig economy. And that is, of course, we all know that is like the biggest, fastest growing sector. Then the type of work, again, using a lot of technologies, things are getting automated. And if you see in the last 5 months, 3 big IPOs hit Wall Street. Slack, which killed emails. Then there is Zoom, video conferencing. I mean, much more than video conferencing. But although Google Hangout and Skype were the biggest players, a startup came with the 8 billion workforce. And today, WeWork, which launched their IPO, all of it is the biggest IPOs all fall under future of work, which happens. So when these IPOs, all of them have $10 billion valuation just at the IPO level, that means it is going to impact each one of us, and it is already impacting each one of us. And then the type of workplace, you like sharing workplace, or even if you go to TD Bank, they have now this nice coaches, the way you sit, the environment around you, the interior, everything is changing. So, so this is the future of work. And future of work is, let me repeat, future of work is not just some buzzword. It is a sector, it is like a domain in itself. Like all this Slack and everything falls under that sector, which is called as future of work. So this just gives you some idea of the type of the traditional to open. This is very task specific. So nowadays even crowd, you can, a lot of people say, I want this to be done. And like let's say in India or even here, there is an app where I want to fix like a plumbing job, or I want to paint my home. You crowdsource it, people compete with different rates, and then one of them will get it. Yeah. And the last is workplace, physical proximity. There are two extremes. The pure agile people say you have to be in the work. Every day, everyone has to be at the same physical location in the same room. And the other thought is everyone is distributed. There is no such thing as an office, and there is no such thing as a time zone. The work culture is changing. Why it is getting mass adoption is because we have these technologies that can be used where the work can be done smoothly. We have very high broadband. The data storage is very cheap. So all of this is changing. When I say data storage is cheap, earlier any company needed more than this room just for physical servers. The like the Rogers on Bloor Street, all of that is their data servers. Now most of it is on cloud. You don't need to even own that. So when a company does not need to spend on physical space, then they say, then why do I even need a space for people to come in? So, and this is what is changing. I mean, today itself, WeWork was listed on. So, how the evolution of jobs is happening? In 90s, it was QC, which is quality control, which is more of an engineering, manufacturing term for a tester. Then it was QA, which is quality analyst. Then it became an automation tester, and they started calling it QE, which is quality engineer. And when it became QE, it was a developer. It was now no more a it was a Selenium developer or someone like that. It was no more a manual tester. You needed a specialized skill. And then nowadays, this DevOps tester is very common. Similarly, earlier there was business analyst. Then people said we need a BSA, which is someone who can write SQL scripts, basic technical, who can be a bridge between the developers and the functional people. Then Scrum was getting popular, and product owner is a very Scrum specific role. And the BA or BSA became a product owner, and product manager is something broad. We like right now I'm conducting a batch here for product manager. Similarly, earlier there used to be process managers. Now we have agile coaches, and so process manager is this is the process that's in your company, and I will tell you how to improve it. Then came agile coach. Agile coaches bring all this Kanban, design thinking, all these different methodologies, and tell you depending on your organization's culture how many people are onshore, offshore, which agile to use. And then there is this digital transformation manager who work at the organization level. So agile coach is typically at 2-3 teams level, and digital transformation manager. And all these, if you search on LinkedIn jobs, indeed you will see a lot of jobs being listed already in Canada. And I'll just give a quick, good example is Wipro SpectraMind was the biggest BPO company in India. BPO is business process outsourcing, your customer support, call support. Today, that entire company has completely undergone digital transformation, and the name of the company is Wipro Digital Operations and Platform. And it only does chatbots. All that customer support was doing, it is now is being done by a bot. And it is a core technology company, no more humans who are answering calls, but it is all chatbots and all these technologies. So this is Wipro, and the thing is, company like Wipro, it was easier for people to get an entry-level job in BPO. But if that itself gets removed, it has a big impact on the economy and all of us. And who should be worried? So first of all, I don't want to scare, but no one is safe. Because it can impact you, me, and the best is, so take the case of a Uber driver. Uber drivers disrupted the existing taxi or taxi. So they were really angry. And Uber driver became complacent. Uber recently last year announced that they are working on full autonomous car, so they don't even need the Uber driver. So anytime anyone's job can be disrupted. But at the same time, and like these are other jobs which typically, so if you are a middleman, if your job has a lot of repetitive and predictive tasks, if you are data entry, these are the ones. So Scrum Master is very popular nowadays. But in True Agile, they say no, you don't even need a Scrum Master. But at the same time, in all Western countries, although there is so much unrest and so much of chaos happening, unemployment rate is at all-time low. And the technology is mature. What does that tell you? In US, Canada, unemployment rate is also at all-time low. Although there is so much chaos on CNN and all, the reason is people are adopting. People are changing the way. The person who decides to transform their own career is getting a job. And it can mean one of my friends bought a brand new Tesla and is doing Uber's premium Tesla. Like in Uber, there are different, and he is earning more than 150K per annum. So it depends on how you see. If you want to make money, there are many ways. You can use these technologies and to make money for yourself. Or you can upgrade. You can take the latest certification. You just have to be continuously in a learning mood. Most in-demand job titles. So these are all technical. So all the technologies which Abhinit mentioned, the developer for that, product manager is the most. Product managers are paid in Silicon Valley more than a developer. Any role in cloud. So these are most you have already heard, and I'll just touch base on few non-technical roles. what we want to say is, it is not that it's okay if you're not a developer. First of all, there is tremendous need for creative roles. Tremendous. And when I say creative roles, everything around you, there is an app for guitar. There is an app for every skill out there in the market. But how do the app makers who are developers understand that skill? A musician is actually working with these people. A sports person is actually working in a technology company. A doctor is actually working in a technology company. That is when all of your, whatever your skill is, and it has nothing to do with being a developer, there are so many roles out there for companies who are building digital products for these sectors. The next is, most important is, all of it is playing with your human psychology and behavior. Why you click, so when you go to booking.com, you're doing like searching for booking, you will get a pop-ups that this hotel has been booked 5 times. Someone is already booking right now. They are playing with your psychology. Nothing, it's true data. Earlier also that was true, but now the way the data is shown to you, and like I gave you the example, like in Netflix, it gives you that skip intro option. When you continuously use it, now you just want to skip intro. You cannot watch those credits. It is playing with your. So all IT companies are hiring psychology and human behavior specialists. Social media managers, growth hackers. How do you go from 1,000 users to 1 million users, so 10 million users to 1 billion users? These are specialized, they are called growth hackers, and your entire customer support is on social media. So you need a social media manager. There is this, if you search on Forbes.com, ethics officer is the most in demand and the most paying role in IT companies in US, because AI is also crossing that unethical ethical line. Where do you stop? And there have been so many instances of unethical behavior by all these IT companies, and sometimes they just blame it was a robo, a trading bot. It can be any type of software which is making decisions which has $1 billion impact, and fraud is happening because it's a software flaw, and sometimes it's by purpose, by mistake. So an ethics officer is really important. But one I'll say is inclusion and diversity manager. Again, you can search this on Google. IBM, everyone is hiring. Earlier there used to be an HR who is taking care of everything, but right now, especially in a city like Toronto, there is so much of emphasis on inclusion and diversity. They have a full-time position who ensure that the company culture also is aligned with what they are saying. And so it is no more a statement. They have a full-time role. So if you are from like the HR and that background, you can of course think of these jobs. And all of this falls under this future of work and emerging technologies kind of thing. It's not just the developers. So technologies with the most impact, and why? So why do they have that much of impact? And he covered all these technologies, so I don't want to go there. What I'm trying to say is, why is it that these technologies have such a huge impact? How can you find out which is that next technology which is going to? First of all of these technologies are horizontal. That means they are not bound by geography, they are not bound by the sector, they are not bound by your job function. AI affects a translator, a receptionist, and it affects the CEO. Every job function, every geography. You cannot say blockchain, or blockchain is distributed, it is all over the world. So it is not restricted to a geography. Then, and the sectors, it is in auto, in supply chain, in every sector you have these. So this is why they have the biggest impact. Second is, all of these technologies are removing middlemen. If you think of 20 years back, we were surrounded by middlemen. When was the last time you walked into a travel agent? You do everything on booking.com. Technology becomes the middleman or intermediary. There is a push for everything to be digital. Even art is digital. Music is digital. Everything is now digital in nature. These are very mature technologies. You may be hearing some of them, but R&D has been happening since 70s and 80s, including blockchain. All the concepts of blockchain, cryptography, game theory, 70s, 80s economics, all of this has been there. So you may be hearing about them, but they are very mature technologies today. And this is what I want to talk the most is our any society, any system or any physical or digital network, the two main pillars are money and trust. And technologies like blockchain and AI is redefining both. You book an Uber and you trust that unknown driver, or you stay in someone's apartment using Airbnb, not because you trust that person, but because you trust the technology. And this technology is called as a reputation algorithm, or the way they have that reputation where each one can review each other. Therefore, next time you book an Uber, it will force you to rate the previous Uber driver. You are trusting the way trust happened. It was happening in the traditional sense is being transformed, and blockchain with cryptocurrency is changing the way money functions. So the very definition of money, even a 5-year kid, when they set up a lemonade stand, what we try to tell them is the importance of money. We don't tell them what is the importance of USD. We tell them what is the importance of money even at a small age. And that has been changed by these technologies. And it is not necessarily only cryptocurrency. A lot of fintech companies are non-blockchain are also working in this. There is top-down and bottom-up acceptance, which means the governments are implementing. Going back to your questions, the blockchain regulation, even Canadian government is bringing their own digital currency. They are experimenting. It is called as Project Jasper because it is in public money. Everything is on internet. 60 countries are bringing their own digital currency. This is just a full show where they are saying bad things, but they themselves are using those technologies.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
And data is the new oil.
Because I like money is very like.
Exactly. So going back, all of us, you have heard of fintech, which is finance and technology, which created a lot of these jobs and all these new small startups in finance. But there is today, all of these are proper $1 billion and hopefully the next $1 trillion industries or sectors. And depending on your background, so MarTech is marketing meets technology. Today, all of marketing happens online. MedTech is all the medical thing marries when it marries technology. Clean tech is especially in Canada, it's all clean energy. It's creating a lot of jobs. So travel industry, educational industry, agriculture, drones and agriculture is like a marriage made in heaven in Western countries. So depending on your background, it's okay if you're not from IT, if you're from marketing, HR, you can still work in the most happening industry. And how do you learn about it? On Eventbrite, Meetup.com, you will find conferences and events specific to these. And that is something we want to address. Like every 3-4 weeks, we want to talk on specific things where it will be of beneficial. And we will bring industry experts as well. This was the first time, so we did it ourselves. I just want to show you one video. So I'm going to talk on 3 next $1 trillion sectors which have a very bad rap, which people say really bad things about. And I'll just show you a video. I hope this plays.
World Cup final is happening here in Tokyo.
So esports is the biggest $1 trillion industry right now. And esports was hated by our parents, by us, to our children. But esports is not just about games, gun and all. This is esports. In Japan and South Korea, these are real sports where hundreds and thousands of people watch it live on YouTube on home. And these are actual games being played. This is the esports sector. So when all these politicians say the gun thing is happening because of esports, ignore. This is what esports is about. This is why it is the $1 trillion industry as of today. And anything that's happening in China, South Korea, Japan will come to North America. This is for sure. And already in small things, this is happening. I'll also tell you that just 2-3 weeks back, If anyone has heard of the game Fortnite on mobile, there was an Olympics of esports. The prize money was more than Wimbledon. Think about that. When the prize money, there are so many people in that industry being affected. Right from people like us who want to organize an event, to people who are playing. It becomes a full sector. When Grand Theft Auto game released, in the first week it made more money than the Avengers movie. But people are not talking about it. And Toronto is a good hub for sports, e-sports, e-games, this. So this is what esports is about, and it's an amazing sector to be in. Bitcoin blockchain. Bitcoin was always called as the what do you call drug money and all that those names. Yeah, everything. It has been called all names. Today, all banks are bringing blockchain, Bitcoin. Every financial sector has jobs, and cannabis industry. This again depends on your moral compass. But cannabis is not always about smoking and all. If your moral compass is there, if you are ready to work in a brewery, and it's a tech product. So some of the products means search a legal regulatory cannabis near you in an app. This has nothing to do with smoking cannabis. So this cannabis, and I mean, if anyone of you is following the North American stock market, I don't need to tell you how exciting and how much of investor excitement is in this sector. And this sector is this sector is also like esports. It is way more than what you think it is. And there are so many jobs, product manager jobs, well, in this. So how it impacts your so how does it impact your day-to-day responsibilities is, first of all, there is no manager, flat hierarchy is becoming very common even in Scotiabank. Work flexibility, employers are ready to give you a lot of flexibility, very less meetings, videos in person discussion. There is almost no use of emails, and Slack, which did its IPO, it said that it is an email killer. Collaborative and simple productive tools. How it and distributed work was fun at work. If you have worked in a Scrum team, there will be an agile coach telling you you will be playing actual games at work. Adults playing games to understand business requirements. Things are changing, and around you it's changing. And the last part, and which I want to bring in is, as I mentioned, there is a very big push to embrace diversity. If you apply today on Scotiabank, and this is a sensitive topic, but if you apply on Scotiabank, you get this option on every. If you should understand what it means, because your colleague will have their own identity and ethnicity, and it is very, very important. The company is following. Are you fit for the culture? How you are getting along with people who identify themselves differently? And this is happening on a very big scale. So it is up to you to educate not just on the technology side, but also on these other side where your company culture is going. So then the last is recruitment trends. Curiosity. You mentioned your curiosity is the most in demand. Like in interview, they will check how much curious you are. Ideology and mindset. They will, if you are in a startup or something, check your ideology. How much you are for open source. Do you really believe in open source if you are working in open source? So these are how much you believe in decentralization of power and authority. These are all, and they actually ask you, and they will try to get that answer in different ways. But they are checking your ideology, and this ideology is not your political ideology or like that. This ideology is technological ideology. Ethnography is how you understand people from other ethnicities and how you get along with them. And one thing is, of course, certification is the most important. Sometimes they will look for a generalist who knows a little bit of everything, or sometimes it is a very specialized role. And the last is like even recruitment strategies are changing. There are nowadays online exams are common, behavioral tests are there, machine learning and AI is scanning your resume. So you have to even design your resume such that a machine learning algorithm will scan it. Gone are those days when you are filling out, only the big banks are doing it, and tell us and all, where there are big job descriptions, that entire job application takes 45 minutes. If in many startups and small companies, it's just a 2 minute thing. They will ask you 5 or 10 basic questions. They will have a slider of the salary you are expecting, and then they will call you if it fits. So you don't know what they are looking into. Behavioral tests, psychological tests are becoming very common. So this is where jobs are today being created, disrupted, and this is where you should go if you want a good career for the next 10 years. It's just an insurance to, for your career. Thanks, and any questions, and please, you can contact me anytime. These are my contacts. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks. I had to rush it.